The latest polls are showing Congressman Andy Kim with an overwhelming lead over Republican Curtis Bashaw in the New Jersey race for Senate. Now, both are hoping to replace former Senator Bob Menendez, who, of course, stepped down this summer after his conviction on federal bribery charges.
Now, Kim's a third-term representative, and while his challenger has never held elected office, he is a prominent business owner in South Jersey. Congressman Kim joining us now. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So the last debate you guys had, you hit on three key things I think most Americans are focused on and most New Jerseyans focused on, which is abortion rights. We're talking about the border and affordability, housing affordability, which a lot of people are seeing very difficult these days. What is your plan to make housing a bit more affordable for people in Jersey?
Well, in terms of this, it's really about trying to make sure we're lowering costs across the board for families. You know, the way I hear about it from voters is they often talk about it like it's the death from 1,000 cuts. You know, the housing cuts often the deepest, but healthcare costs, you know, food costs, public transit's a mess right now and a challenge. So, you know, when it comes to housing in particular, you know, we really need to make sure we're spurring more development, more building. You know, I believe we need a decade of building right now. You know, we have such a huge deficit of housing, and I hear from young people that are saying, like, this young man was telling me, like, he's like, I don't think I'll ever be able to afford a house in New Jersey because of the student loans that he has, as well as the high costs. So we're only going to be able to wrap our heads around this housing crisis by building more.
Yes. Do you have any plans to do so?
Yeah. So what we want to make sure we're doing is creating the incentives, the federal government incentives. This is something that we learned from the work that we did on the Bipartisan Chips and Science Act, as well as the Inflation Reduction Act, in terms of ways in which the government can spur private sector to be able to have that kind of public-private partnership. And I believe that if we move forward in that type of way, you know, we'll be able to make sure that we're building, but like not just like the luxury buildings and the houses, but, you know, make sure we're building for single families, for, you know, entry-level young families. You know, that's something that we're missing right now.
Yeah.
You're looking at a lot of these issues, and then you look at who has been running the state since 1982. It's been two Democrats in those seats there. What do you say to voters who say, we are at this impasse right now because of the leadership that has come before? So what if they want something different? What's your words to them to be like, I want to make some things different?
Yeah, and I hope they see in me someone who is approaching this differently. You know, I'm not a politician. I'm somebody who's a career public servant. I worked under the Bush administration and the Obama administration. I'm a Democrat that won a congressional district that Trump won twice. I try to bring a politics of coming together and building in that way rather than dividing. And like, look at the work that I've done. For instance, probably the biggest thing that got done in Congress is I wrote legislation that would cap out-of-pocket costs for seniors when it comes to their prescription drugs. So because of this legislation I wrote and passed into law, starting next January, no senior in America will ever have to pay more than $166 a month for their prescription drugs. You know, that's real savings that I hope people see.
When they polled a lot of New Jerseyans, a lot of them said that they felt politicians were at least a little corrupt. Of course, then we have everything that happened with Menendez and these crazy details that came out with all the corruption he went through. Of course, you know, being convicted and then, you know, stepping down. How are you going to change that sentiment to New Jersey voters?
Yeah, well, I start by, you know, stepping up against Senator Menendez the day after that indictment came out a year ago. I stayed in the race despite the most powerful political family in my state, the governor's family, you know, running against me. And look, I ended up suing the state of New Jersey, standing up against leaders in my own party to try to stop an unfair ballot that we have in New Jersey. So, you know, I hope people see me as somebody who's trying to earnestly change this system. And for instance, the most popular piece of legislation I've ever introduced is legislation that would ban members of Congress and other senior government officials from owning and trading individual stocks. You know, like, we don't want the insider trading, you know, we don't want the conflicts of interest. We just want them to do the work.
Term limits?
Yeah, I'm supportive of term limits. You know, I think if we can come up with bipartisan agreement, we're talking about maybe 18-year term limits in Congress, as well as the Supreme Court. I think a lot of people can agree with that. But we also need to make sure we get the campaign finance reform, as well as ending the gerrymandering. Otherwise, you know, you're not going to really be able to tackle the problem.
All right. Andy Kim, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.